In this example, we are going to design the architecture for a text-based single-player tic-tac-toe game. This is how you play the game. First, you launch the game. The command new creates an empty board. Each cell showing the cell number. The mark command is used to mark a specific cell. The game responds by marking the indicated cell with an X, and the game AI marks another cell with a circle to simulate the opposing player. Here, the player has marked cell 4 and the AI has marked cell 7 in response. Here is the next round. And the game continues like this until there is a result.
Let's move to the architecture design. The Tic-Tac-Toe application has to support these two commands. Let's start with a very simple architecture that has only two components. To discover the APIs of these two components, we can use sequence diagrams. When the player types this command, the UI will perform some actions and display the empty game board. Next, we need to figure out how the UI should interact with the logic component. This is one workable solution. We have now discovered one method of the logic component.
This approach assumes that the parsing of the command and making sense of it will be done by the UI component. Alternatively, we can move that responsibility to the logic component. In that case, we can use a generic execute method instead. Let's update the API accordingly.
Let us now assume that we have to support a load command to load the previous state of the game. This command is used to resume a game that the player did not finish in a previous session. This means we need to save the game state in the hard disk after each move. Let's add a component called storage to handle reading and writing to the file. That means we should save the board after the mark operation. The board here is a data structure that we plan to implement later, and it will hold the details of the current game state. Now we have one method in the storage API.
Now, let us assume that we decided to move the responsibility of parsing into a new component. The logic can now determine the meaning of the command using these two method calls. Here are the two methods.
Alternatively, we can have one general parse method that returns a data structure containing the details of the command. We hope this simple example showed you how to go about designing the architecture and discovering the component APIs.